Hey gang, this is Greg Holder, the lead pastor at The Crossing here in the St. Louis area. And I know it seems like every time this year I get a chance to speak to you and hopefully encourage you as you head into this really busy season. And today I was thinking of a story from 2 Samuel, and I know you're familiar with it, but David and his men are fighting the Philistines, and they're hiding out in this cave. And David says something out loud about just having a craving for water from his hometown well in Bethlehem, except the Philistines have a garrison there. Well, there are some men who overhear this, these mighty men of David they're called, and three of them actually make the hike. They fight through the Philistines, they draw the water, they bring it back. It's like a 12-mile hike back to this cave, and they bring it back and give it to him as a gift. Now, what he does at first, I think, seems unusual because he refuses to drink the water. Instead, he pours it out on the ground, which seems odd. It seems maybe even ungrateful. But these drink offerings were really common in the ancient Near East. See, he wasn't being ungrateful. He was overwhelmed with the gift, the courage, the love. And he comes to the conclusion this gift, this act belongs to God. So when David pours it out, it's actually a sign of gratitude for these men. And it inspires an act of worship on his part. This gift led to the worship of God. Okay, so that's the story. There's two sides to this in the coming days. First of all, there are men and women on your teams who do extraordinary things. Sometimes you ask them to do those things. Sometimes you didn't ask them. But the truth is, when that gift is then presented to you or it's presented to the team, and let's face it, I honestly don't think that there's a team or a ministry whose hard work is noticed more and acknowledged less than the tech team. But when that happens and somebody brings this gift, this idea, this beautiful thing to you, I'm not saying drop whatever they did on the floor. That probably won't work. But pay attention, notice, genuinely and outrageously thank them. And let the whole thing be like a small, maybe nobody even else will notice it, act of worship. Let it lead you to worship. Now, there's another side to this, and it is that you do this all the time. You serve, and you listen, and you offer ideas, and you come up with all of these selfless, difficult to pull off ways to serve your team, your church, your peers, and yes, your lead pastor. And I'm guessing someone on that team notices, somebody notices, someone says, hey, you're the one that brought the gift to the table, and maybe it wouldn't have happened if you hadn't been there. I hope that happens. But let me just say this, that gift, that hard work, that idea, that way that you serve all those others around you and you stay late and you're going to work hard and maybe nobody is really even counting up the hours. You know what I'm talking about. That kind of devotion, ultimately it belongs to God. So please remember as you go through this, it's already an act of worship. You protect your heart and you understand that you're giving this to God, but I guarantee you it leads to a whole bunch of us worshiping our King in ways that you might not even connect. But I'm telling you, what you do leads a whole bunch of other people to worship. So let me just say, if nobody else says it to you this year, thank you. What you do is that important. You may not be hiking 12 miles into enemy territory, but I promise what you do requires sacrifice. And sometimes we forget that. So thank you. Going into this season, thank you for doing things for a whole bunch of people whose names you'll never know this side of heaven. But one more time, you're not crazy. Honest, you're not crazy for doing this. I promise. I promise. What you do inspires others to worship. It inspires me. And I just wanted to say thank you. God bless you. Merry Christmas.